GM everyone, GM Lil Panda here. Got a quick show tonight. This is the voting week for Nouns Hack Week. I've got Marco Kane on the stream real quick to talk about his prop, fun, exciting prop here, new nouns font. So we're gonna get into that right after this intro. Marco Kane, GM, how are you?
Hey, what's up? GM, how's it going?
Going well. Got you here. This is you, Braunschweiler, at Braunschweiler. This is you, right? On Twitter? I think I lost you. Are you mute? You're not muted. Can you hear me? Marco lost you. Um, hmm. All right, Marco, you're
Okay,
back.
we're back. Sorry about that. Lost it. But yeah, doing well over here. How's it over there?
Doing well. Doing well. So, just looking at your Twitter profile here, what is it that you say you do? Like to an audience of people who don't know you.
I'm a
Are you a
designer.
designer? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm a designer, but I think my, like as I've said in the nouns prop, I have a background in art, and I think that that kind of informs the way that I do design actually, because the way that I do design is it's very research based. I'm always really surprised when people like I saw some tweet the other day that was like my design process is I type some stuff into Figma and choose a font, and it's like that always seems so. I know that people work like that, but it always seems so insane and scary to me because I think about it as a very process based application. Um, and, and I think that's also why type is so important to me because there's such a history and a legacy of uh, type, like it means so many different typefaces mean so many different things. And so without really understanding and knowing that, it's difficult to make choices for an application. Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's the Coco.
amazing. Coco DAO. You did this whole
Yeah.
design?
Yep. Yeah, I did Coco
Oh,
with
what an
Tribute.
OG project. Oh,
So
Tribute, man,
cool.
they're OGs.
Yeah, definitely. It was a real pleasure working with the people that are so fucking smart and so like such a pleasure to work with them. And then just in general, the CCO license is so cool, and being able to work on that project and learn more about that's actually how I learned about nouns. Is doing that is like looking through all the different nouns and hearing about the project and choosing one for the front page. So um, yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, that's how you heard about nouns. Obviously, you know about CCO. I'm on your site here, openwindow.studio.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's pretty clear you you understand licensing, you understand CC0. I was looking over some of your fonts, your typefaces. Sorry, what's the difference between a font and a typeface?
A font usually indicates a family. So something can be both a font and a typeface. So like Helvetica is the font. The typeface that you would use would be Helvetica Display Medium, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yep.
like, or bold, Helvetica bold. That's your typeface. But a lot of times it's used interchangeably, and I don't think it, for my mind, it doesn't really matter. Like on the proposal, I was like kind of particular about it, but I think that that's one of the things about. I think that is actually one of the nuanced things about the proposal, which is cool, is that so we can start with a typeface um, that's a display typeface for the nouns universe, uh, but it could actually be the start of a new font family. You could have a lot of different variations of it, and especially because it's CCO um, or CC0. Uh, since it's CC0, you could actually have it be the like beginning of a kind of font universe, because it's infinitely, composable and remixable, in the kind of same way that the noun sounds project works, where you can have these like. I actually made a sizzle video, which didn't go up on that thing, but used a lot of those noun sounds, and it was cool because I didn't have to worry about if I slow them down, is it going to be a bad thing? It is just composable because it's CCO,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Um, oh no, you're talking to someone who uses noun sounds for my own sizzle videos, so absolutely makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you produce a sizzle video? Can I look at it, or you didn't release it?
Um, it's not released right now. So I
Oh
was,
man, well you got to
yeah,
send it to me when you finish it.
I definitely will. Yeah, I was thinking if this is of interest, then it could be helpful in like looking at the how this thing could feel in a longer term way.
So you submitted this for Nouns Hack Week. Let me set the stage here. This is Nouns Hack Week, Art Design and Media. Top 10 prizes here are going to get 2 ETH. There were 134 props submitted, and yours is called, let's
New
see,
nouns font.
New Nouns Font. So can we start at the beginning here? So you were familiar with nouns. How did you find out about Hack Week? How did you come to submit this?
Martin, Martin from who's doing the Hack Week. I don't know how to say it. And Antiquel. I don't know how to say his last name, but
And
uh,
Quintel, yep.
Anquetel, yeah.
Friend
So
of the pod,
I
friend of the pod.
was.
He's been on a couple times.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, cool. So yeah, was just DMing with him about something else, and then I saw him post, and then I was like, wait, this could be a really cool deal, because I had asked him before, like, what are the fonts that Nouns uses, because the display font always seemed a bit curious to me. um, I do really really like that, and I think I mentioned this in the proposal, but I do really like the Noun Town font that Gremplin did. I think it's such a
Yep.
cool piece, and it's like so expressive, and um, I think that's like that is its own thing, and very beautiful. Um, but the other display font that's typically used is, I think, I mean, just in general, like Nouns is at this level where it's like you should have like a custom font, like you should have custom type, so that you have this kind of differentiation. And because even like looking at I mean, you mentioned this too, like the problem of trying to make a sizzle video and then looking through the fonts, and then stuff doesn't hit. And I noticed that in a lot of different, I saw like two very high production videos that include like typefaces which are not um, in the noun center, and it just seemed very curious to me. So, and I think also just like the opportunity is to have type that has the characteristics of the nouns, which is like dynamic and fun and open and angular, but then also kind of curvy depending on how you look at them. So, and just in general, I mean, you know the math castles, the terraforms.
Yep.
That's another collection that I really like, and one of the things that's really cool about that one is it actually uses the glyph, which is the like kind of principia materia. So when you're looking at um, when you're looking at a word on the screen, like nouns, each one of those characters, nouns, is a glyph, and that's how the kind of canvas of the um, font is referred to as a glyph. So thinking about these spaces as like that got me thinking about this like space, the glyph as a space for art. And so I don't think that that's what's happening here with any of this type. This is functional good type for applications, but uh, it should be a bit more creative, but then also a bit more functional too. So if that makes any sense.
Yep, definitely. This is your prop here. You got this kind of checkerboard background. And so is this a sketch you did, kind of a
Yeah.
prototype with?
Yep. These are sketches. So I have a couple different ideas for the way that the typeface could go, and I think so. For the proposal is for Hack Week is because as I was saying about the kind of research and process based development. Uh, I don't know, I don't know what this thing is as of yet. And I think that the most important thing is to make sure that the direction is good before the kind of thing starts. And so this proposal is for the development and research into the uppercase letters A through Z. Um, I have some ideas, and that's in the proposal. You can see kind of 5 different variations of how the letters nouns can look. Uh, but I think that those are ideas, and what I really want to arrive at is something that's like, as perfect can be for the application. Uh,
Yeah, can you talk me through kind of which of these five? Can you tell me about the choices you made? I think
yeah,
this is a font you've already done. This was on
yep,
Crocodile, right?
yeah. Some of that is used on some of this are type that I've made before, and was thinking that they could be adjusted. But the first one really is uh, my heart, So if this is if I'm thinking about what this could be, so this is a grotesque, which is kind of takes some keys from grotesque being a sans serif, takes some keys from sign painting. It has some verticality to it, but it's also very angular. And I think to me, that's the key is like balancing this kind of hand drawn quality, but then also making sure that it's like a really proper, usable typeface that can be versatile enough to be part of the noun universe as it grows, and do all the different things that it needs to, because it has to work on products, it has to work on um, like projects, sizzle reels, digital, physical. There's so many different applications. But so this kind of felt like a good starting point for something that was both had character, but then also super versatile.
I love how you said that. You said this one is in your heart. Tell me
Yeah.
more. Can you expand on that?
So this actually is like um, based on a some type on a wall at a grocery store that I go to. Um, so I noticed that they had this really nice. I really like um, Neue Grotesk or like Helvetica variants. It's like very classic, but it's this thing that can be super versatile and depending on the cut of the typeface. So like back in the day, typefaces were all the different variations of a typeface are called a cut because they were actually cut out of metal. And so I I really like just traditional sans serif typefaces, and all the different cuts that come from Helvetica, uh, because it's just such a hard thing to make a typeface like that, like a really like strong workhorse, um, that like also like my dad's from Switzerland, so it's like yeah, I don't know. There's probably something there too, but like that's how I actually ended up like really getting excited about letters. Is when we were a kid, we would go visit family there, and I remember seeing like graffiti, and I was like, oh, the abstraction in letter form. It's like it's so that's the one. Like I'm not like a graffiti head or anything, but seeing like the way that letter forms were abstracted uh, into these like pictures, I always thought that was so cool because at the end of the day, that's what you know letters are. They're like things that communicate a picture. And so, in short, I would say that having this kind of like relationship where I go to this place and get food that makes me happy and healthy, and go with people that I love to the grocery store, and then having this be that kind of relational space. So I would say that's why I like the first one in a very long-winded way. Um, but yeah, I mean, the second one, I like the second one as well. I mean, I like all of these. The second one is starts from this typeface, OW steel, which is made to be basic. It's a modular typeface, which is made to be cut out of extruded steel. Um, Funny enough, it ends up looking really digital. Uh, I mean, I like this in the way that it looks, but and I would be very curious to hear what the community thinks about this as an idea. But I think that this is always the thing with the nouns that I'm like, I always wonder, and I have to ask, is like, um, this. It seems like there's this balance between this like kind of polish and this like digital feel. Um, and there's like in all the material, there's definitely a wavering going between that and I think those two things can work together. And I guess that's what I am curious about in people's response to kind of these sketches, if that makes sense. Do you have that experience when you're making the nouns material?
The experience of what
Um,
specifically?
the working with either the very polished type or the very 8-bit type.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'm not really happy with something in between, and I really do kind of want something in between,
Yeah.
particularly for body text. I like press start for headlines, but yeah, this one's interesting. I really like the way you did the S here. It looks futuristic, but still and very pixely with this, especially this like kind of just barely hanging on to this thread here. But it's
Mm-hmm.
obviously an S. I really like that.
Cool. Thank you.
How did you do the colors on his checkerboard? Did you just draw a bunch of random squares and rectangles, or did you have something set up like this?
Yeah, it was what is it? Path convert to shape. I did a rectangle and then just kind of did the checkerboards from there, and then they're actually screen caps from a video. So I did some animations moving in and out, and then started with that kind of big one, the like checkerboard proper, and then just pushed in and pushed out.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
So back to your prop here. You say basically, yeah, designing a typeface takes a lot of time, research, development, a lot of labor. So this would be for phase one, which would get uppercase A to Z, um, and that's what you'd produce. But then to get this to like a full production CCO font that anyone can kind of plug in and use, that would require more funding. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Do you have you thought much about how you would price that out or what you'd be asking for?
I haven't. I mean, I have a general idea, but not quite sure. And I would just want to make sure that it was like it's based on hours. So I have like a rough calculation of basically a couple hundred hours, but it all depends too. Because if like let's say if it ends up being one of the ones that are more modular, then it's easier and takes less time. So, and also just in general, like sometimes they can go quicker than others. So I would just want to have a round idea.
Totally fair. Understand that. Appreciate you being upfront about that. Really well written here, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I can tell you spent a lot of time kind of refining it. You have very
Yeah. It,
clean prose.
oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah. It did take a couple days because I wanted to be like, I originally wrote it as kind of a bigger proposal where everything was bracketed out. And then I was like, you know what? This should just be like really crisp and easy. So
That is very nounish. Yep.
yeah, that's what's cool. The nouns are really distilled. That's what I like about them.
Yep. Awesome. I was browsing your site earlier, and so all these that you have done, I would need to pay to have a license to be able to use them.
Yeah.
So yeah. So how does that work? Do you negotiate individually? I've got to email you, or
Yeah, you just email me. It depends on what what the application is for. If it's just for personal use, it's very reasonable. If it's and honestly, a lot of these are still in testing phases, so I would much rather just have people um, use them and test them out, and then let me know what they think of them, uh, so I can like make sure that they're because a lot of them haven't been mastered. I use them on a daily basis, but and they're like for all intents and purposes radio ready, but I really want to make sure that they're like super tight. So that's why the it's says email me to license, because I'd much rather have like people just use them um, and give me feedback than like if they're corporate clients, then I'm happy to like tighten them up and get them mastered for those applications. So that's another thing. But if they're just people using them, like I just prefer they get used.
cool, cool, cool. Fair enough. Awesome. Well, anything else you want to say about your prop here? We got some voters maybe listening. You've got 3 more days to vote. I really think you did a great job laying this out. I love your visual element. I
Oh,
love these
thanks.
5 sketches. Um, yeah, shout out Martin for getting you to submit here.
Yeah, thanks,
Um,
Martin. That's definitely something I want to say, and just really appreciate like the help in even pointing me towards the noun sounds proposal, so I could see um, the precedent, and then thanks to the folks on Twitter for helping me point me in the direction of the noun town font. That was super helpful. Um, and yeah, just thanks for. I mean, thank you so much for having me on the podcast and or the stream, and uh, for considering. Thanks to everyone for considering it and reading it and everything. So it would be an honor.
it's been my pleasure, Marco Kane at Braunschweiler here on Twitter. Look him up. Check out the prop, new nouns font. Really appreciate you coming on, Martin. Excuse me, Marco. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, have a good one. Peace.
All right, bye. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. That was a quick hit there on Nouns Hack Week. As Marco Kane with his prop, new nouns font. We'll see you later.